Stace and Barry, they're here in the morning. They've got coffee and tea and bacon sandwiches and stuff. I don't know what people have for breakfast. I haven't had a bacon sandwich for ages, and I don't actually know why, and I feel like I need to rectify that now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 13 of Stace and Barry in the Morning. I'm the Stace half of the Stace and Barry, and the Barry half is over there. Hello, Barry.
Hi, the Barry half. I've got to say, I'm loving that confidence on the episode number. Loving it. Loving it. 13.
The absolute audio question mark that came at the end of that. I think it's 13, but I don't want to put all my eggs in the 13 basket.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Hey, it's going to be exciting because if it's not 13, it was actually 12, then that means like you've got a lost episode that we'll just record at some stage.
Oh, well.
Hey.
No, nobody cares about numbers anyway, I'm sure. Hello, Barry. How are you doing this fortnight?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad that today's not purge night.
Same. I would absolutely die in a purge.
Well, save that thought. Save that thought. That's all I'll say. I'll say no more. I feel like
okay.
I've given a little bit of a game away.
You might have a bit.
Yeah.
Shall I change the topic to something before we go into a segment, to something a bit related to Stace and Barry?
Do it.
I after we had that discussion last week about Star Crash, I watched it.
I know, and I think it wasn't even the fact that you'd watched it. It was the fact that it was 10 minutes after we finished recording. And then I got an image through on my messenger, which was an image of you watching Star Crash. And I was like, oh, Lord, sweet in heaven, what have I done?
What have you done? No, to be fair, Barry, I had a rollicking good time with it because it is, you are correct, it is trash, but it is great trash.
Shit, isn't it?
Oh, my God, it's so fucking shit. No, what happened was, as happens every time I record a Stace and Barry, which always asks me for, like, what we've talked about. And I don't know why, I'm like, just listen to the fucking episode, mate. Support your Wi-Fi.
Support your local white people.
Yeah. But, so I was telling him about Star Crash, and he was like, well, this sounds like exactly the kind of shit film that I can put on and appreciate. Because, you know, he does that, like, 365 films a year thing.
Yeah.
Well, this year he's actually aiming, I think he said he was aiming for 500, because he's done the 365, like, 3 years in a row now or something insane. So he's aiming for some sort of insane number. And he was like, yeah, we'll slap this on. It's not very long. It's like an hour and a half or whatever. We'll see how it goes. And, like, oh, my God, it's so crap. Like, I'm not 100% sure I could tell you how the story gets from, like, A to B most of the time. Because I'm like, hold on, where are they now? What's going on? But, yeah, it's one. I loved it. I thought it was great. And imagine a drinking game to it where it's like every time the guy who's supposed to be David Hasselhoff has to put a mask on because it's not actually David Hasselhoff there on the day. And a little drink.
I mean, and there's some seriously high quality perms in that film as well.
Oh, mate, the costuming, like, there's a woman running around almost the entire time just in a bikini, that's rising up her arse crack like nobody's business, and I'm like, you poor woman. And then eventually she gets a coke because she goes to an icy planet. I forget why. But I've got to say, I did appreciate the throne, the weird sparkly throne chair. It's quite exciting bit of paper mache.
Also, how impressed were you by Christopher Plummer's performance?
Christopher Plummer, who we actually had a little read up of this, who apparently only accepted the job because they were filming in Rome and he likes it there. Oh, cracking. I love it. I love the brazenness of it. Like, yeah, I'll do it, but only because you're in Rome and I want to go to there.
I don't give a shit.
Like, he blatantly wasn't even on set half of the time.
Well, isn't he on? He's just on screen in one bit. He's like on a video screen, like giving a speech or something. Yeah.
And then there's another bit where he's just a hologram. I'm like, you filmed that in your fucking hotel, like sat on your bed.
Maybe the universe will be safe for a little while.
It is good.
What are you smoking, dude?
Anyway, I loved it, so thank you for that.
That's okay. And the last thing I'll say before we move on is, how shit was the shit lightsaber?
Oh, mate, the shit lightsaber, and the fact that So the bad guy or the bad thing that was happening seemed to be some sort of like psychic energy wave, but the way they achieved that was to just overlay like film of a lava lamp over the scenes that were happening while people were grasping their heads and going, "Oh, criminy!" It's so shit.
Oh, but the lightsaber that's what did me in. It was almost like the special effects, but yeah, we could do that, man. Don't worry. We've only got 50 quid left of the budget. Yeah, I could put something together. Don't worry about it. Me and Tommy got this. Don't worry. Post production, we'll get all that sorted.
Oh, mate, the opening sequence of like what is very obviously a shit toy thingy flying across a black blanket that's got LED lights dotted on it. Mate, I love it. It's like somebody made it in their garage for like 20 pence.
Great. So what
the
we're
idea
saying,
that they filmed it in Rome is hilarious.
Yeah. What we're saying in this segment, which may have to be a new segment where we just look at like crappy films, is go watch Star Crash. Never is there a film which does what it says on the tin.
Yeah, exactly. Right, it's time for a trumpet.
Hit it.
What's your pick of the fortnight, Dad?
My pick of the fortnight is I was a bit worried about doing this one because I didn't was going to change it, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do this actually. So for ages we've circled around the idea of watching the Purge films.
Yeah.
But whenever I thought about it, I've just thought it's going to be. I just thought the premise of it. I just think, oh no, I don't like this premise, and I think it's going to be. And I watched one trailer of the first Purge film. And I thought this looks really heavy, like it's going to be really brutal because it's all a bit home invasion-y and stuff. And that's never a good time for anyone. And for some reason, in the end, Sue and I sat down to watch it, and actually, it wasn't as brutal as I thought it was going to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we watched the first one, and actually, I actually enjoyed it. Obviously, the premise is horrible, but it's quite an enjoyable romp. But what I want to talk about is as we talking about like the end of civilization society. That's quite a fun romp, wasn't it? That there's a one day a year where you can basically do whatever you want. You can murder whoever you want, and people walking about saying "Have a good purge" as they're locking up their house so they don't get killed during the night. However, we then watched the because we enjoyed it. Let's give the second one a go, which is Purge. I want to say Anarchy, which has one of my fave new up and coming action stars, Frank Grillo. I just love Frank Grillo in anything. You do know who Frank Grillo is, don't you?
I don't think I do. No.
So he was in Captain America: Winter Soldier. He was like one of the he was the guy that was on Cap's team, but he also worked for. I was going to say Spectre, like that's the wrong enemy organisation.
Wrong franchise, baby.
Wrong franchise, wrong everything. Who worked for Hydra, who was then Crossbones.
Okay.
Yeah, him. He seems to be popping up in quite a few like action films and stuff, and I just quite like him. I find him quite a believable action star. So it was him in this, and I just loved it. I thought the second film I just loved because it was much more what I wanted.
Yeah.
Just straight up kind of run and gun. Have you seen the Purge films?
So I've seen the first one and I've seen the Forever Purge, and I don't know why I haven't seen the ones in between.
Right. Because isn't the Forever Purge the latest one?
It is, and it's not very good, in my opinion. Sorry. It's a bit more political and heavy, and a bit less run and gun. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I quite liked the first one though. I'll be honest.
You should watch the second one then if you want a bit of run and gun. The second one is really good. It's like I'm gonna get lynched for saying this, but bear with me, people. It's like we've got Alien, and Alien's like quite tense and scary, and and then you've got Aliens, which is all those things, but it's just lots of people running around with guns, gunning down loads more aliens. That to me is basically what the Purge and Purge Anarchy is.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, you need to get on that, and the thing is as well, it's just I never get tired of seeing rich, annoying people get their comeuppance.
Oh, mate, honestly, I love that. That's
Just,
one of my favourite things to see in a film.
I'm a simple man. It's just like, yeah.
The idea of the purge always tickles me because it's like, in theory, I wouldn't mind a day where I could go and, like, I don't know, nick a PS5 and not have any consequences for it. But people like me who want to commit small petty crimes absolutely could not be outside during a purge because there'd be people who want to do all the murders and the rapes, and we'd be like, oh God.
I know.
Like, 1,000% someone's going to murder me, and all I want to do is nick a Switch. Like,
I'll probably think it's slightly grander, but then there's me who's like, I might just want to like kick open I was going to say Dixon's. Dixon's doesn't exist anymore, but
Rumbelows.
Wow, there's so many people that sit there going like, I have no idea what they're talking about. But those of you that do, those of you who do know what Stace just said, you knew that was a zigger. You knew it was a zigger. I might just want to kick open like an electrical store and maybe steal like a PS5 or something like that. But my problem is, I'd probably go there and there'd be loads of guys like in pig masks that are going to be running around like chopping people up. And I'm like, look, guys, I know you got a mission. I just want to get into like Rumbelows and get my PS5. That's all. And then I'll head home.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd be like. I'd probably want to bust open I don't know, CEX, because I refuse to call it sex, regardless of what their adverts are trying to tell me. It's CEX.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll just break into one of them, nick a few games and a console, I don't know, like a telly or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want to do. I don't want to get involved in any moiders and that. It's too much. Like, just bring yourselves down a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Down. Also, I don't even know how that works the day after. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I assume they have like purge cleanup like operations where all the like murders and body bits and windows get replaced and stuff. Like, I don't know.
But just going into work and knowing that Fred in accountants, like, I don't know, like slaughtered half of your neighbours. Do you know what I mean? You got to pop in and see him the next morning, and it's like, yeah, morning, how was your night? Yeah, not too bad. How was yours? It's just, how's that? No.
Oh, it's all right. Not too bad. I killed like, I don't know, about 25 people.
Yeah.
You're just like,
wow,
what?
Stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah. Note to self: butter up, Ian from accounting by next purge. That PS5 I stole. Maybe I'll give it to Ian in accounting.
I know. Right, over to you.
Over to me. Hey, well, I wanted to do a little honourable mention, which I will talk about very quickly because it's not geeky. But AEW Wrestling hosted a pay-per-view event the other day called All Out, and it was one of the best wrestling things I've ever seen in my life. It was so good. So if you like wrestling, you should watch it, especially the tag team match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, which was just chef's kiss, insane steel cage match nightmare times. The thing I've actually picked, though, is me being a tiny bit behind the times, but the Suicide Squad, you heard of it, Barry?
I have heard of it. But when you say behind, are you saying you're behind the times or behind the times? Because obviously there's two Suicide Squads.
Yes. So I am behind the times.
Okay.
In the sense of I forget which one is called the Suicide Squad.
The new one.
Okay, so it's that one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is the Suicide Squad. That is my pick of the fortnight. I have seen Suicide Squad, and unfortunately I found it wildly inadequate. Let's just leave that there.
Okay.
Have you seen the Suicide Squad?
I have seen the Suicide Squad.
Excellente. Did you like it?
I did. I think...
Didn't sound enthusiastic.
No, I did. No. I did see it. I did enjoy it. My problem is, and that's why I'm not watching. It's a slightly side thing, but that's why I'm not watching Shang-Chi until it comes out. I don't know, months later or something. Is because there was just too many people telling me how this was the best thing since sliced bread. Too many.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I can see.
so it was in my head. So when I sat down to watch it, I was already prejudging it that this needed to be the funniest thing I'd ever seen, and
Yeah.
actually it wasn't, but it was enjoyable. But I think had I not had all those, I don't know what people say, yeah, but you can just block that. Well, I'm not
You
that
can't
good,
though, can you?
you know.
No?
Yeah, and I think had I watched it, if I'd watched this like over Christmas, months later when everyone's kind of forgotten about it, I think I would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I actually did, and I did enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I can totally understand that, because there's loads of films where that's happened to me, where I'm like, oh, this is a solid 4 stars, but it might have been a 5-star if I hadn't have had that pedestalisation. That's a word I've decided. Of the film beforehand. Oh, I was quite lucky because we saw it like the day after it came out, so there wasn't that much rumbling about how good it was.
right.
And personally, like, let me get my 2 niggles out of the way first, because then I can like gush about it. There were 2 things. I gave it 4.5 stars, and there were 2 things that brought it down a bit for me. And the one thing was there was a particular character who I don't want to say because it gives away quite a lot. Like, we all know some of the members of the team are going to die, but I don't want to say who they are.
Yeah.
But there was a particular member of the team that I really wanted to see more of, who dies very close to the beginning. And I was like, oh no. And the other thing that got me, and this is going to sound daft considering the sheer amount of like horror movies and slashers and things that I watch, but I found it a bit too on the gory side. It felt like, you know, when things go, oh, we've got an R rating, so let's just go fucking banan. It was a bit like that to me. So there were some bits like,
I agree.
and again, I don't want to spoil a particular person's death, so I'm not going to say who it was. But there is somebody who gets thrown up a window, and he like bursts into just like blood. He pops like a fucking balloon and just bursts into like blood. And I was like, well, now you're just being silly. Like, and I'm not expecting realism in a movie with a giant fucking psychic starfish in it. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is that moment didn't need that to me. Like, it didn't need that level of like, look at all this gristle. like, I was like, calm down, you know. But those 2 things aside, I thought it was really funny. I thought the cast was amazing. I am all about Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think she was done a real disservice in the first Suicide Squad. I loved her in Birds of Prey, but in this it felt like she was just fucking. Do you know what? I'm just going to say it. People are going to hate me for this, but I think she is the character they should be trying to base the DC cinematic universe around, rather than trying to build like Batman and Superman and Joker as a thing. Like, she's got the chops. She's fucking phenomenal. Get somebody who knows how to write her and people around her, and you're onto a fucking winner.
Yeah.
Like, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, no, she was, and that's what I mean. I plan to watch it again at some stage, because I thought everyone was really good. Yeah. The banter was, the gore kind of put me off a little bit, not because it was cartoony gore, do you know what I mean? But it put me off a little bit because it was a bit. Okay, I get it, you know. But for me, it was more the quiet moments, just the banter, and every time Idris Elba said, "Oh, for fuck's sake," it just made me laugh.
Yeah, I loved him and his salt and pepper beard and his amazing scary mask. Like, I just thought the film was just really well thought out. Like, because not to compare it to Suicide Squad, because I know it's not fair and blah, it's a different film and blah 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 and what have you. But the problem I had with the first one is that the story was so like, we clearly don't really know what's happening, so I guess Enchantress. Like, I was just like, that'll do. That it just felt like, like they just farted it out. Whereas this felt like they had a clear idea from the start of what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They knew like which characters were going to be doing what, and like everything just felt like it really meshed. and I thought it was really funny. I absolutely adored King Shark, and there's a sequence where they're sort of like breaking into like an enemy base in the jungle, and the punchline to that joke like proper made me like, you know, when you laugh so hard your face hurts and you're not making noise anymore. like like that just had me really cracking up. So I just thought it was just like a really good fun movie. I just wish they'd toned it down just a little bit. But yeah, that's my pick of the fortnight. We've been talking for so long and we've only done one fucking segment. Whoops.
It's all right. We may not do all the segments today. We could just do, unless you're desperate, we could just do musical musings and then tip the fuck out the door.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Shall I do a little bit of trumpets then?
Hit it.
Jazz. Barry, what have you been listening to this week? What's tickled your earbuds or something?
I seem to be on a whole kind of thing at the moment about kind of crappy things. and how the music elevates a property which is perhaps not the best property in the world, but the music elevates it.
Yeah.
So this week, honestly, I have no idea how I ended up listening to it. So I can't even tell you a fun story. So the soundtrack is So did you ever watch the Judge Dredd film? The Stallone Judge Dredd film?
Do you know what? I haven't, but I actually genuinely want to. There
we go. This is like Star Crash all over again. Now, I don't think the Judge Dredd film is as bad as Star Crash because you can actually follow the plot in this.
Yeah.
And although I think when people watch it now, it looks, it's aged badly and blah, 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 and I haven't seen it in years. But I think when I remember going to see it at the cinema, and I think the sort of opening, 10 minutes or whatever, when he rocks up and he is just dressed up as Judge Dredd and whatever, it works pretty well. And then within 10 minutes, he's got his helmet off and it never goes back on. And he's basically it's just another Stallone action movie.
Oh.
With a little bit of sprinkling of Judge Dredd thrown into it.
Yeah.
As I said, some 2000 official would probably shoot me on the spot. It's all right, I mean? It's, However, the music is done by Alan Silvestri.
Ooh, okay.
And the music is cracking. He's got a cracking theme in it. So I've been listening to a track called We Created You.
Okay.
Which is, We Created You. Which kind of I've picked because it's a great track, but also it sort of showcases the sort of main sort of theme, the Judge Dredd theme. And it is a corker. And weirdly though, when I try to sort of get the soundtrack on Spotify, it's all mixed. It's one of these ones where it says the original motion picture soundtrack, but it's mixed in with actual music that people have done for the film. He says in inverted commas. So you've got like The Cure and White Zombie and Cockatoo Twins, whoever they are. And then you've got actual tracks that have been done by Alan Silvestri. So it is on Spotify.
Oh, that's good because that means I can put it on the playlist.
Exactly. Oh, which reminds me, I might have to pick Rambo 3. That's got a cracking soundtrack as well. Stroking chin. So that's my pick.
Nice. Well, I picked Barry. Have you watched season 5 of Rick and Morty?
Actually, no.
Okay, I needed to know that beforehand because otherwise I would have spoiled the scene that this happens in.
Oh, okay.
The title itself is a teeny bit of a spoiler, but it's a spoiler for a thing you already know has happened from other episodes in previous series. So it's like, it doesn't count, I don't think. The piece of music I've picked is called The Battle of Blood Ridge, and it's by Ryan Elder, who is the guy who does a lot of the music for Rick and Morty, with saxophonist Thomas Edinger, I think is how you pronounce his name. I did look it up online, and that's how the lady with the awkward robotic sounding voice tells you to say it, but who knows, because she didn't sound like a real person. So yeah, it's a piece of music that happens during a sequence that I will not spoil because I'm not an arsehole in the only good episode of Series 5.
Yeah, which is probably why I haven't rushed to watch it.
Yeah,
because
okay,
I heard you say it's not great.
Yeah, so not to go into it too much because I don't want to like waste everybody's time whinging. But basically, the long and short of season 5 of Rick and Morty is that it's done a lot of pop culture parodying. And when I say a lot, I mean like 2 different parodies of things per episode, and they've been the whole crux of the episode. So, for example, there's one where the A plot is a Transformers extended joke that's not really very funny, and the B plot is a Hellraiser extended joke that's also not really very funny. And if you haven't seen one or both of those things, the whole episode is just like, what? And that's what a lot of the episodes of Series 5 are. But episode 8, which is the one that this piece of music comes, it is another sort of riff. It's a riff on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which happens to be my favourite movie ever, so that might be a little bit why I liked it. But it's also addressing some of the loose ends from previous series that a lot of us have been like chomping at the bit for getting tied up like.
Right.
So, I mean, I thought it was a great episode. It was really funny. It did a bit of tugging on the heartstrings. But this piece of music is like a sort of retro synthwave version of the theme tune with some added like exciting saxophone times.
Okay.
It's really good. It's only like 2.5 minutes long, and I could happily listen to it like on a loop for a good hour. It's great stuff. So yeah, that was my musical musing.
Nice musing.
Nice. Sorry, I'm just having a little stretch.
Okay. Keeping you up.
Don't mind if I do. Mate, the weather's been keeping me up. It's been a bloody heatwave nightmare time.
Yeah. Well, like you, I'm no fan of the heat.
No, I can't wear any turtlenecks. It's just ruins your life.
What's really exciting is, it's because I'm not, I haven't got like a video camera or post production or any kind of like skill in that vein. But I was thinking, because obviously this is running joke every the minute it gets to summer, I say autumn's on the way, and she gets really annoyed because I keep saying, you know what that is, don't you? It's because autumn's coming. Whereas now autumn is coming, and now I feel like I need to do a Kickstarter where like I just want to do a short film only for myself, so no one's actually going to get any benefit from it. So the Kickstarter's probably not going to work, but it will be based around like Michael Keaton Batman in Batman Returns. You know, a bit where he's like in it's still one of the boss Batman scenes where he's just sitting in Wayne Manor on his own in the dark. And then they turn on the backlight, and then he's obviously got like a backlight on the roof of Wayne Manor, which is obviously great when you've got a secret identity. And it comes on and it reflects all through. It reflects through into like his sitting room, and he just stands up as if to go, I'm needed. And I kind of want that. I kind of want to do that scene, but it will be like a tree or something, so I know autumn's here, and I'll just go, autumn's here, and then I'll go down to like a cave, and it will open, like I open this massive vault door, and there'll be like a turtleneck behind it, and I've got, I'm needed.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I might consider chipping a quid into that Kickstarter.
To be honest, with the post-production I'm thinking of, a quid's all I'll need.
Look, mate, if the Star Crash guys can... No, they can't.
No, they can't. They really can't.
Look, an effort was made.
Yeah, this is true. I could do a lot of a camera phone.
A lot of people can. I can't, because I am not good. Anyway.
I've got a yellow sweater, so that will do it. I'm going to bring up my yellow roll neck for that bad boy.
You need to get like a burnt orange one so you look like a leaf.
I have got an orange one.
Nice. See? I know how to wardrobe. Anyway.
Anywho, enough wardrobe or autumnal chat. Let's get the heck out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Hey, I hope you have a wonderful weekend / whatever day it is when you're listening to this. Barry and I love you both, and love you both.
Love
like, there's 2 listeners. There's only 2 listeners.
Just give it away. Let's just God
And it's us there. It's just us two. Hey, we love you all, is what I meant to say.
Yes.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, because we do love chatting to people, you can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate, or you can send us an email to staceandbarry@gmail.com, or you can join the Geek Syndicate or Stacey's Parlour Facebook groups, or you can teach a pigeon to get messages to Barry and I by stealing one of our socks and then making it sniff it so that it knows our scent and then it can come to our house. Don't do that, it's weird.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Also, I'll be doing some book signings next week at Rumbelows.
Book signings at Rumbelows, that makes perfect sense. Even if Rumbelows was still an ongoing concern, that would be so weird. People just turn up to get a telly and they're like, what's this there?
I know, he said Rumbelows. I don't know why I find that so funny. Oh, Rumbelows.
It's because it's a stupid name for a shop anyway.
Especially an electrical shop. It just makes no sense.
If you said to me, even in the 90s or whenever it was, when it was peak Rumbelows era, if you'd have said to me, what do you think we sell at Rumbelows? I'd be like, I don't know, like old school fights.
Old school.
Anyway, we love you, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye all. That's just a gift that keeps giving.